Kandy Cares presents Abandoned Pregnant, the podcast show with Kandy Dolor. Hey ladies, how are you all doing? I hope everyone's okay. It's beginning to get cold out here over in London, and I must admit that I am so not looking forward to the winter time, but I'm beginning to brace myself for it now. All pregnant women, make sure you stay warm outside. Make sure you've got the accessories to keep you warm, like your hat and your scarves and stuff. You might not be able to get your coats because you may not know what size to get with you growing all the time, but everything else that you can get to keep yourself warm and prevent yourself from getting these horrible colds and flus going around, then please do that. Okay, so today I'm going to be speaking about a much requested subject, which is why some men abandon the women they made pregnant for other women, and why do these other women accept it? I personally feel that it comes down to the responsibility. Some men are scared of the whole mommy and daddy ties and would much rather be absent and around other women, including other women's children who he isn't permanently attached to or has to provide for or even answer to an extent. It is a really painful situation to go through for a woman who has been abandoned pregnant by an ex-partner, because she just feels like, well, I'm connected to this man and he's choosing to connect himself to another woman. She can't help but feel hurt to know that the man whose baby she's carrying would rather be with any other woman except her, and she can't understand why or what she's done so wrong for him to behave this way, or how she can even fix it, and all that stuff can give her anxiety. Any woman in this situation is going to feel like, well, she'll be wondering why the father of her child can't love her and how he could do this to her and their family, especially if she already has children with him. So ladies, if he leaves you pregnant for another woman, you know the guy this woman has got, and you know what she's got to come to. Any woman who gets with a deadbeat dad, she isn't intelligent, because a woman with common sense would say, if he did this to her, then he could do this to me too. Therefore, any woman who stays with a deadbeat dad is silly. Women who accept a deadbeat dad and have the whole, well, it doesn't concern me attitude are wrong if they think that the man they are with, deadbeat dad title, doesn't affect them in ways like their reputations, or when anyone mentions the deadbeat dad, you can be sure that these women's names will come up right after those men's names and before people even get around to talking about the neglected children. These women will be subjected to having mainly other women and people losing respect for them. They themselves will be living a lie, just like the deadbeat dad is, by turning a blind eye towards the whole situation. These women who choose to be with deadbeat dads end up looking like fools too. Desperate ones who have low self-esteem, even if they don't know it. No woman should think it's okay to be with the man who doesn't look after his children or one who abandons a pregnant woman. These types of men are never ever satisfied, and they'll always move on at some point. I also think that it's really important for a pregnant woman not to compare herself with another woman who her ex has abandoned her for, because any woman who can get with a deadbeat dad, especially one who's abandoned the mother of his child while she's pregnant, is an ugly woman from the inside out. He will lose in the long run when he does a similar or the same thing, if not worse, like get another woman pregnant and then leave her, for example. Deep down, this woman will always be worried that he will do something similar to her, because she knows what he's capable of. So she'll never feel safe in that relationship, and it will definitely lack trust. It's really heartbreaking that a woman could do this to another woman who's pregnant, regardless of if it's the man who's the main betrayer. Women like this lack morals. Of course, if she doesn't know, then it's not her fault. But for the women who do know, I think that for a woman, it is as low as you can go. But at the same time, you never know what the deadbeat dad is telling her too. And we all know how these men can come across as being very believable with their stories. However, if she wants to choose to believe his lies, then that's up to her. Don't go out of your way to prove anything, and and instead just leave her in for her own rude awakening, especially if he's told her that your baby isn't his. The truth always comes out in the end. I think that if a woman discovers the man she's with is a deadbeat dad, she should view him as a liar and a potential deadbeat dad for her own kids and leave him. But before she leaves him, she should tell him to look after his kids. But what I really believe it comes down to with these men is that they're not telling their new girlfriends the truth about the situation. That's why these women tend to stay with them. For the women who do know, their mistakes is believing that the other women won't ever be them. What I also think that many people don't seem to realise is that when a woman is abandoned by a man that she's pregnant for and he moves on, that stuff can literally make her lose herself in so many ways. She can lose her temper, her confidence, her trust. She can lose her self-esteem. She can even lose her belief in good men. She can lose herself to postnatal depression, anxiety, all of this and more, including losing herself to trying to figure out all of the reasons why he's done what he's done and losing the love she had for herself. All of this stuff can cause women to develop mental health issues or even pregnancy problems. Also, anger as well. Anger during pregnancy, that's not unheard of when a woman's pregnant anyway, because of her hormones being unbalanced. Now, imagine all of the added anger from a woman who has been abandoned by her baby's father completely, and he's just gone and left her for another woman as well. Well, sadly, I know that many of you don't even have to imagine that feeling because you know it. Actually, since I mentioned feelings, when it comes to the emotions of the abandoned pregnant woman, just the thought of her baby's father being with another woman can make her feel less woman. Being abandoned or dumped out of a relationship for another woman is one thing, but when you're pregnant for a man who isn't interested in wanting to be in his own child's life, but is showing interest in another woman's life, that's no man. I'm going to tell everyone the reason why deadbeat dads are able to do things like this as well. It's because they're not the ones who are carrying their babies. They don't have that bond like the woman does. And they don't have the maturity either to separate the feelings for the mother of their children from their own children. So they're basically viewing their own kids as extensions of these women. And some of these men even resent that the woman has a life now, in some ways attached to his forever, even if he isn't in it. Petty, I know, but it's true. Some of these men actually really do think like this. The bottom line is that men tend to go where they want to be. No woman can stop them, not even their own mothers. So ladies, if you've been abandoned pregnant by your ex and he's with another woman and her kids, then the best advice I have to give to you on this is to please don't let it drive you crazy. I know it's easier said than done, but you must remember that the best for you is yet to come, and it won't come if you don't move forward. Don't worry about what your ex is doing with a man who's a deadbeat dad, and don't worry about a woman who clearly has no self-respect because she's shacked up with a man who's basically guilty of child neglect. Anyway, do you know what, ladies? I don't even mean to rhyme half the time, but I do. Everybody always says to me, why do you talk in rhymes? I can't help it. Honestly, I really can't. So that's why a lot of my Instagram posts are the way that they are. I think I've got a problem with rhyming. I really do. Anyway, ladies, I'm going to end this topic here, but I do hope that it gave you some insight and some understanding. Please send me in your dilemmas and things that you'd like me to touch on over to my Instagram at Kandy Dolor, and check out my website kandydolor.com for brand new articles, and subscribe to my YouTube account Kandy Dolor, where all my videos and podcasts are uploaded. Thanks for listening, and I wish you all a lovely day. Take care and bye for now.